have to title our videos properly. So what'll happen is, for some weird reason, up to 20 or so people will suddenly be here, and then they'll all disappear. And then, it'll just be 2-3 people feed, like it always seems to be anymore. It's not that I'm censored, though. Let's get that out of the way. Everybody else that talks about this stuff, well, they're allowed to, but not me. Not me. I'm the bad guy. It is what it is, man. So I'm here on this channel for the next 2 weeks because, as I said previously, somebody found a video from 4 weeks ago that only had 119 views on it. Out of the 119 views that it had, one person was like, "Oh, this one's bad," and reported it. Now, hate speech of all things. So you would think YouTube would provide me, when it says, this is what you've done wrong, you click on it. It normally should take you to the video, the clip, the thing that you said that was wrong, so you know what not to say again. Nope, not me. So I tried to think back, what was I talking about on that day? And the video was called "Censored Over Teaching God?" Question mark, because I was teaching about God. I was reading biblical stuff. I was talking about religious stuff in general. And of course, I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe that was the day that I discovered Lag Omer. I might have been reading it. That was the first time I saw so let me read it to you. Lag Omer. First of all, if you have a chance, if you're only going to see this for a minute or you're going to pop into this feed, the one thing you absolutely need to look up is Mishnah Niddah 5.4. Mishnah Niddah 5.4. MISHNAHNIDDAH 5-4. 5.4. And the thing that will pop up is Sefaria, SEFARIA.org. Okay, Sefaria.org. And this is the Hebrew translation of it. Okay, this is. So let me just read this to you, just so you understand. A girl who is 3 years and 1 day old, whose father has arranged her betrothal, is betrothed through intercourse, as the halalchic status of intercourse with her is that of intercourse in all halalchic senses, meaning ownership takes place. And in the case where the childless husband of a girl 3 years and 1 day old dies, because, she's childless, she's 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, of course she's childless, and her husband is a man, is 40, 50, 60 years old, he dies. If his brother, the Yavam, engages in intercourse with her, he acquires her as his wife. And if she is married, a man other than her husband is liable for engaging in intercourse with her due to violation of the prohibition against intercourse with a married woman. What's up, S. and Snavid? I don't know, it's a hi person. Watching, if you're watching, like, share, sub. I had a like, but I guess they didn't like what I was saying. And if the girl is less than that age, younger than 3 years and 1 day, the status of the intercourse with her is not that of intercourse in all halalchic senses. No ownership takes place. Rather, it is like placing a finger into the eye. Just as in that case, the eye constricts, sheds tears, and then returns to its original state, so too in a girl younger than 3 years and 1 day, the hymen returns to its original state. Do you believe that? Does that make sense to you? And in the case of a boy 9 years and 1 day old whose brother had died childless, who engaged in intercourse with his yivama, his brother's widow, the status of the intercourse is that of halalchic intercourse, and that he acquires her as his wife. But he cannot give her a bill of divorce, if he chooses to end the marriage until he reaches the age of majority. And if he engages in bestiality, he disqualifies the animal from being sacrificed upon the altar, and the animal is stoned due to his act, put in a pit, and they throw rocks at it until it dies. That's what stoning is. Now, this is the foundation. This is the Talmud. If they tell you it's the Torah, it's because the Talmud says, tell them it's the Torah. And if there's nothing wrong with this, there should be, some sort of discussion. There should be some sort of, it shouldn't be a problem that I bring it up. It shouldn't be a negative that I bring it up. You should be proud of the fact that some dumb Goyim knows your stuff. Right? But strangely enough, yesterday, I'm watching Rathbone, who I like Rathbone's videos. Actually, I like Rathbone's videos a lot. And the thing that I like about him is that he's intelligent, is that he comes across as intelligent. He's not out there clout chasing. He's not out there, saying words incorrectly. Like I noticed the other day, he said something about they weren't doing something. And it made me think, I always say weren't, but I should be saying weren't, because that's the right way to say it. But he's a really smart guy who looks at things from an intelligent perspective. And I would like to actually have a discussion with him, because I'm always interested in those guys. I think a lot of them are Esther Project guys. I don't know if he is, but what's happening, man? That's a sweet ass bike. I bet that's like a religious song. But what I was originally going to read you, so I read you that because that's a super important thing, and everybody needs to understand what that is. But what you don't know is Lag Ba'omer. It's a really interesting thing. The more of a conspiracy theorist you are, the more interesting this should be, because Lag Ba'omer, Lag La'omer is a friar. We're going to refer to them as friars. We always refer to them as friars. F-R-E-I-E-R. Is a friar religious holiday celebrated on the 33rd day of the counting of Omer. The 33rd day. Isn't that interesting? I know most of us wouldn't think twice about it. But then there's the conspiracy side of things. And if you're in the conspiracy side of things, when you see the number 33, it's something to pay attention to. Just YouTube 33 COVID, and you'll see what I'm talking about. We might even show it. Why the hell not? But this is a holiday where they build big bonfires, and they, I'm sure it has something to do with redemption. And, blah, 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 because all of their holidays are about redemption. You have to ask yourself, why would such a moral group of people, the most moral group of people, why would they need so many redemption holidays? But, let's see, 2026, it's from sunset on May 4th through nightfall on May 5th. But customs and practices, if you go to the customs and practices section, now I always use Wikipedia because Wikipedia is their source. Right? Let me just show you real quickly what I'm talking about. Guy called Naftali Bennett. Naftali Bennett is he's a former Israeli prime minister, probably a future Israeli prime minister. But from 2019 to 2022, when Israel had 6 different prime ministers in that 3-year time span, not 6 different, but 6, the hands of prime ministership changed hands 6 times. So it was Netanyahu, Benny Gantz, Netanyahu, Naftali Bennett from June of 2021 to June of 2022, where he just did this unprecedented thing where he just stepped down as prime minister. And Yair Lapid took over from June of 2022 until November of 2022, when they put in Netanyahu, Bezalel Smotrich, Itamar Ben-Gvir, Avimo as this extremely openly racist supremacist coalition that is now in charge of Israel. Yair Lapid even said, it seems like there was some real tomfoolery going on with the election, but Israel as a whole is more important, so he was just going to step down and let Netanyahu take over. And Netanyahu was put in a position of leadership that he can't lose. They can't take him out. He's basically a dictator at this point, but nobody talks about it. But the way that they put him in, he can't be voted out. He can't be overthrown unless he steps down or there's an actual physical revolution. But there wouldn't be. But here is Naftali Bennett back in 2010 talking about Wikipedia.
My Israel has arranged, metzitzia in conjunction with My Israel, has arranged instruction day for wiki editors. The goal of the day is to teach people how to edit in Wikipedia, which is the #1 source of information today in the world. As a way of example, if someone searches the Gaza flotilla, we want to be there. We want to be the guys who influence what is written there, how it's written, and to ensure that it's balanced and Zionist in nature.
Okay, so if you have any doubts as to who controls Wikipedia, that's it. That's who controls Wikipedia. They don't hide it. They don't lie. They nothing. It's right there. Oh shit. Hang on a second. Sorry, I gotta. Sorry about that. Yeah, sorry. So when I'm using when I use Wikipedia, it's not because I believe that Wikipedia is 100% truth. I believe that Wikipedia is 100% the truth that they want us dumb Goyim to have. Yeah. So that's why when I'm reading it to you, this Lag BaOmer thing, I don't have to worry that it's not accurate as far as as far as they are concerned, as far as the chosen, the friars are concerned. So customs and practices, it says, the counting of the Omer is a semi-mourning period, all restricted, like it's just dumb. As a result, weddings, parties, listening to music, and haircuts are commonly scheduled to coincide, blah, blah, blah. Families go on picnics and outings, children go to the fields, this, that, and the other. Bonfires. The most widespread custom of Lag BaOmer is lighting of bonfires, a practice that some Israelis object to because they say that the fires bring burning until late at night, increase air pollution. Oh, it's so hard to breathe. So, you see it, right? But it says, this is a part that most might miss if they don't read it all the way through, but due to incidents involving teenagers who threw live animals in Lag BaOmer bonfires, a group of Israelis with initiative took to patrolling the bonfires to prevent this cruel misbehavior. So if it's something that doesn't happen, one, why is it even mentioned? But two, why would they be, forming patrol groups to prevent something that doesn't happen? It just seems like it's more of the stupidity that constantly gets presented by them. And we're just supposed to be like, oh, I don't know what's going on. I don't notice this. I can't. Morning. Oh, live and dream. You know how it is. I always destroy the basketballs. So I thought it was really strange that I'm watching. I get a notification last night that Rathbone is live, and the thing that he's talking about is Ben Shapiro. And let's see, Ben Shapiro, it's definitely not an Israeli tradition to hurl kittens into a bonfire. That's what this video says. Now, seems like lots of people watch lots of videos on here, so I don't know why I can't, but Cordy, what's up, Cordy? Or Cord?
Protesting outside of an ICE facility in Texas. Here are they. Look at these. It's the white.
Tommy Robinson, what a piece of shit he is. Okay.
Crying. Somebody asks him. People claim Israelis celebrate Lag BaOmer. I don't know what that is, but by throwing kittens and puppies into bonfire. Where's Lag? Probably some Talmudic tradition. Well, I'm learning. I've learned so much about the Jewish tradition against my will the past 3 years. So much during the Palestinian. How much information have I learned during the Palestinian genocide about Jewish people? Okay, let's see. So apparently, this Jewish tradition, it's being alleged, and Ben Shapiro is going to have to answer for this, that they throw kittens and puppies into the bonfire. But he says this is a malicious lie.
Look at this. He's such a disgusting piece of shit.
Stupidest crap I ever heard in my entire life. What kind of nonsense? What in the hell? And it's just what?
What?
Oh my God! Never.
It's so funny when people are guilty of something, and you try to, you listen to them try to deny it and try to sound like a normal person, try to talk to friars about Mishnah Nadah. I stand by the idea that they and their cult is a pedophile cult. That pedophilia is the foundation of their cult, and I am more than willing to be wrong. But strangely, all of them seem to cower whenever you ask them to engage on these things. So, it's interesting that it's the same thing here, where you try to get them to talk about what? But that is so preposterous. That's the craziest. That doesn't happen. Like, instead of actually answering for it and saying something even halfway believable, like, yeah, this is something that was seen a couple of times, but then it was blown out of proportion and all that. Bitch ass Ben Shapiro just lies through his fucking face, and he does a terrible job at it. It's not even close to a thing.
Wild kittens everywhere. Well, according to this news report, it says Ba Omer bonfires. There's volunteers patrolling the Ba Omer bonfires to rescue animals from flames. Air pollution levels dangerously high as Israelis end up kindling blazes 2 nights in a row following rabbinical intervention concerning Shabbat. And it says volunteers have saved some 30 cats and dogs from being thrown into bonfires last year, including this kitten. Oh my God. I mean, I'm laughing, but it's really dark. And it's not like we haven't seen these fucking ghouls chucking kittens off of the side of buildings in Gaza. We know what they do with dogs. I don't want to go into it. But they have such contempt, not only for human life, but also for animal life, of course. And you can't even do a convincing lie. Oh my God, he's pearl clutching. Like, I've never. It's just so crazy. What are you talking about? As Israelis kindled Lag Boamer bonfires on Sunday, some for the second night in a row, 19-year-old Shahar Liani and her legion of volunteers were on the lookout at anyone hurling innocent animals into the blazes. It's such a problem in Israel that they form little volunteer militias going around town. Hey, you're not throwing any kittens into the fire, are you? Oh, of course not. Inevitables. For the 6th year in a row, Liani and volunteers around Israel are leading patrols to stop the horrific phenomenon of burning animals. According to her Facebook page, this year the group recruited hundreds of people to join the effort, with nearly 900 signed up. It's such a non-issue of a non-problem that nearly 1,000 people in Israel signed up to prevent kittens and puppies from being murdered for a Jewish religious tradition. I mean, what is what are we doing here? Every year they say we encounter dozens of cases of puppies and kittens being thrown into the fire during the Lag Boamer bonfires. It's like, if this is your religion, I think you need to find a new religion. In previous years, we managed to save dozens of animals and give them a better life. It's not anything. It's just not a thing, actually.
It's not even a thing. It's not even close to a thing. Actually. I would give so much money, if I had it, to actually be able to have a one-on-one with that piece of shit, with Ben Shapiro. I just or maybe I'm shooting too high. I think Ari Shafir would be a great one, or bitch ass fucking butt plug Shmuley himself. I would love to have some sort of one-on-one back and forth with them, because I wouldn't cave. There's a famous clip of the I forget what the guy's name is, the reporter. Let me see. Videos from Situation Room. So let's see. This is a new one. Let's see. Leaked. I'm trying to find the actual story about it. Epstein files release sent White House into crisis mode. That's a report from blah, blah, blah. Belch. Basically, there's a story. Oh, here we go. Lawrence. This fucking guy.
What if your healthy choices could
Lawrence. White House says NYT reporters must have tapes of Situation Room meeting.
For my prenatal visit.
This guy. Right? So this guy is considered like, the Cronkite of the day. Like he is supposed to be not only like one of the highest ranking of the membership, but of the reporter clan, but he's also considered by a lot of people to be extremely based because he says the hardline things. And there's a clip where he's asking, let's see if I can find this.
Audio afraid some of our most sensitive conversations were being recorded. Book now it can be pre-ordered.
Regime change, right? This is the book.
Bookstore and you can get your parent. Some doesn't.
I want to see where he asked the people. Where did you guys get these tapes from? And he says, we're not going to talk about where we got the tapes. Like that's just...
Eager to test the limits of presidential power. The Insurrection Act remains a loaded weapon.
The last word, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to find like a small clip of it. It's not. Let's see.
Speaking of wieners, Scott Wiener.
This was an amazing video, by the way.
Served, so he's not,
Scott Wiener. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
Have you guys seen this video? He looks so coked out. Look at his fucking eyes. And he's just sitting there, and the guy's going, if you care about kids, if you care about the lives and all the innocents being lost, just say free Palestine. That's all I want you to do is say free Palestine. And he just won't do it. He just sat there and just looked at him like, do you know who I am? What are you doing? I wish I could come across one of these pieces of shit. Look at him. He just won't say two words. He just won't say free Palestine. Why do you think that is?
Free Palestine for the camera, dog.
No, I'm not going to. No. I'm not going to say anything. His last name is Wiener. Get the fuck out of here. Can you imagine?
Can screen for multiple cancers. Good to know. Look, the baby around.
Fucking Ben Gavir is such a piece of shit. Look at how tacky everything looks in the White House because of this guy. It looks like some Arabic or Jewish ladies, you know, old ladies' living room.
To understand is put the center substantial. He's like, was that lost in like good on you. I see you were
Oh, here it is.
To sabotage on the tapes. Tapes from audio tapes of meetings in the White House, including audio tapes of meetings in the Situation Room. We're not going to comment on the tapes. In recent weeks.
Okay, so if Lawrence is such a hardline guy, why did he just let that slide? Nothing else matters in that interview. Nothing he has to say matters. His promotion of his book, none of that shit matters. Where did you get the tapes from? We're not going to comment on those tapes. Ends up being all he has to say, and the hardline reporter doesn't demand more? Doesn't immediately say, hey man, that's no, we where'd those tapes come from? He even smiles like, we're not gonna comment on where those tapes came from. Like, how is that allowed? It reminds me of when the reporter was interviewing Prince Andrew. And she's again, one of the highest ranking reporters of them all, maybe of all time. I forget her name, obviously, because whatever, but, she's in that Diane Sawyer category, that Barbara Walters category. And Andrew says, oh, well, I didn't sweat. No, wait, I didn't sweat back then due to blah, blah, blah. And a condition that I have from being shot at. And this hard-nosed reporter doesn't go, hey, wait, that's bullshit. What are you talking about? You know, not being able to sweat would kill you. That's the body's way of regulating, of regulating temperature, and like you'd overheat if you couldn't sweat. Not to mention, there are giggity photos of you from that time, sweaty as fuck. It's not just this one photo. You're sweaty in lots of pictures from back then, all the pictures. You're actually a really sweaty fucker. You're sweating right now. But that doesn't happen. You know, it just goes to show you that it's all a manipulation. It's all you know, it's all just a script. It's all just a show that they're putting on for us. And everybody that's in any sort of position that could or do, or, you know, or should say, they never do because they're not allowed to. That's not part of their script. I mean, this idea of Lag BaOmer bonfires taking place, them throwing puppies and kittens into them, shouldn't that be a national story? Shouldn't that be fucking everywhere? You know, you don't think that the president of the United States doesn't know about this, do you? You don't think he doesn't know about metzitzia and soul correction? And I mean, metzitzia happens between 3,000 and 3,600 times per year in New York alone. Meaning, if they did it every single day, which they don't, because they take days off, you know, the Sabbath, they don't work on the Sabbath and whatnot. But if they did it every single day, that would be roughly 10 metzitzia happening every single day in New York alone. In any other circumstances, if an adult, man or woman, put his mouth on 8-day-old baby genitalia, like it would be a fucking outcry. Especially if it was Muslims. And yet this is something that they hide behind, oh, well, it doesn't happen as much as you think. Oh, well, you know, there's only been 11 cases of herpes that have been recorded, and only 3 or 4 of those babies died, so it's not as bad as what you think. They hide out in the open. They like to hide the worst thing behind something that's really bad. Because if they tried to hide the really bad shit behind something that's really good, we'd see through it. We'd see it as a bribe. We'd see it as you know, them trying to trick us into not looking at this thing. But if it's something really bad, then we go, oh, this is something they didn't want us to know about. So this is, you know, this has to be real. This has to be focused on. You know, like they're hiding their pedophilic nature behind the genocide. And people were fucking waking up. The 3-year and 1-day Mishnah Nadah thing was really catching on. I knew about it. I never consider myself to be like some super sleuth, some super hacker type character who knows how to get information that everybody else doesn't. I always figure if I know about it, it's basically common. You know, I might be a little bit ahead of the curve, but it's basically common. Everything I look up is fucking Wikipedia, is you know, articles that anybody can just look up for themselves. The Israel Hayom Bottom of Darkness article. Anybody can just look that up. You know, you don't need some secret password to look that up. JewishCurrents.org Call of Duty article. Anyone can look that shit up. Where are all my people at? It's really strange. I should have at least a mat here. I should at least have my peoples here. Oh, I guess I haven't sent it to them, so they might not know. Oops, a daisy. Let's see if we can't do something to make this work. Jane and Carrie and Leah and Mary and Matt. There we go. Well, that was that. Forwarding limit reached. So we're going to do it again. Send it to Aja and Holly and Algo and Jan. And let's see. Rhea. Okay. There, I sent it to 10 people. Not going to send it too much more. Now, this is all super obvious to me. And the interference and the censorship I get really does just Mary the other day, or anybody really. If I went on my band page or I went to any of our videos and it was full of fucking random people's comments talking shit, man, this is terrible, it's the worst shit I've ever heard, what the fuck, blah 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 blah, then I would know that what we're doing sucks. I don't sit here and cry about the lack of good comments. I cry about the lack of bad comments. Where's all the people talking shit? People are more likely to talk shit than they are anything else. So where are they? There should be a gang of people talking shit on all our videos if they're seeing them. And considering the name of my band, that should be bringing people to the page by the hundreds every day. The Bilderberg group, of course people are searching the Bilderberg group. So then they should be accidentally stumbling across our shit. Songs like, 6 Million Pizzas, songs like Epstein tapes, songs like Antiseptic. These are all songs and words and ideas that people are looking for. You should see the hashtags that we put on all the videos. This is all shit that should bring people to the page. And then, if it sucks, they should be like, oh, this sucks. But that's not how it works. It's like how the vast majority of the shit talkers on my live feed are either characters that were, their profile was created 12 years ago, but they have 0 subscribers, or it was created in the last, 6 months. 0 subscribers. The fact that I don't have a whole bunch of Jewish people on this feed right now talking shit about what I'm doing. When on my other feed, out of the 7 people that are allowed to be there, 5 of them are acknowledged, admitted Jewish people there to talk shit about me. How would they just, if it's not a concerted effort, if it's not an operation that's being done, then why does it work this way? Motorcycle. Such a dumb fucking way to travel. All it takes is one little dink, one little hole in the road, one bad driver making a mistake, and your whole fucking life is either on or ruined really badly, and you're fucking stuck. An invalid, a fucking somebody that's just fucked up. Sure, it looks like fun. I'm not saying it doesn't look like fun. It's just stupid. But this is what we're always talking about, man. This is how this works. If I'm wrong, it shouldn't be hard to do. It shouldn't be hard to prove. It shouldn't be hard to show. There should be instead of a bunch of Jewish people talking crazy shit, they should be there explaining what I'm getting wrong. Telling everybody why they're so great, why they're so superior, why they deserve Semitism so much. Semitism is policy or predisposition favorable to Jews. That's what the Wikipedia, or that's what the Webster's definition says. Search it. You think I'm wrong? Go Google it. Google Semitism definition. I don't know. Maybe it won't show up for you. I know the first time I looked it up, I had to go through page after page of anti-Semitism this, anti-Semitism that, until I finally got to the actual definition. Now it shows up first try for me because I've looked it up so much. What's up, Matt? So, Matt's been pretty privy to everything I've been doing lately. Remember how I said it's uncanny that there would be so many Jewish people talking shit on my feeds? Just that in itself. Out of the 7, 8, 15 viewers I'm allowed to have on the other channel, at least half are usually admitted Jewish people, and they're talking shit. If they were just so prominent on YouTube that it didn't matter, they would be here. They would be here. They would have stumbled across this page, especially with the similar title and whatnot. But they don't, because they haven't been assigned to this page yet. In the next day or 2, maybe 3, we'll see it. And we'll start seeing all those random, Rise Appers, Act.il people showing up and talking shit. But as of right now, this page hasn't been assigned to anybody yet. And shit, maybe it won't be. Maybe they're so confident that they'll be able to just censor this page, it won't work. But isn't it? I mean, I don't know how many. I don't see anybody else talking about Lag BaOmer. I didn't see anybody else talking about that shit. And actually, I didn't even see any articles about it. I saw the Lag BaOmer thing one day going through stuff. You might have been there, Matt. And I stumbled across that shit. Wait, what's this paragraph say? They have to form, groups so they can stop people from doing that shit? It's like the teen takeovers, right? And I know I've made these points before on the other page, but hey, this is a new day, new beginning, right? When you say, these teenagers, these especially in the Lag BaOmer situation, these are supposedly the most moral, chosen best people of all of us. They're supposedly, it's not supposed to even happen, whatever. But they're supposed to be so moral. They have all this Semitism, this favoritism, and yet something about their lives makes them think it's okay to, Jesus Christ, to inspires them to throw puppies and kittens into bonfires. I've never even thought of that before. I've been around many bonfires, and never once did I think, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we had a little puppy or a kitten and we could throw it in there? If somebody I was with would have said something like that, they'd have probably gotten beaten up. What the fuck are you talking about, throwing puppies and kittens into bonfires? That's a whole different thing. But it's, not only is it, we're not talking about individual incidents here, we're talking about a culture of doing it, so much so that they have to form groups to prevent people. They saved 30 puppies and kittens from getting thrown in. How many did they not save? It's just gross. It's so gross and so fucking weird, and I just don't get it. And with the teen takeovers, you have the same thing. You have this situation where our government, our system is trying to demonize teenagers for being American. This is what America does. If you're a teenager, say you're less than 20 years old, say you're 15 years old. If you're 15, 16, 17, I mean, your memories and shit don't even start until Donald Trump is already president. So you had Trump, then you had Biden, and now you have Trump again. You've seen Venezuela. You've seen, what Trump does here. Just taking shit over. Never mind what the people think. Never mind what's best. Never mind what's just. If you want it, you take it. And I don't, the audacity to act like you're surprised by teenagers acting like Americans. Sorry. It's evil. If only we had the same power of freedom, things would be balanced, at least more than so than now. Well, I mean, I don't know how else I'm supposed to see things. I don't know of anybody else making a big stink about the Lag BaOmer thing. And yet, Ben Shapiro is talking about it, and that same day my page gets fucking shut down. I mean, if you look at my numbers, I don't matter, right? I just, my numbers are so insignificant. There's no way anybody in my position could justify thinking that they matter. And yet, I can't tell you how many times something like that has happened, where I'm talking about something, or I get in trouble or whatever, and then the system matches what I'm saying. I mean, I was telling you guys that October 7th was going to happen 6 months beforehand, saying if Israel doesn't do some sort of major false flag and then commence to genocide by December of 2023, I'll quit making live videos. I'll quit doing all of it. I'll just go back. I'll just disappear into the commonality of things. And not only did it happened October 7th. And it's, no Israelis died or were killed or were taken hostage in October 7th false flag. You know how you know? How come nobody talks about those hostages anymore? If you remember, that first 2 years, literally everything Israel did was because of the hostages. Supposedly to get the hostages back, but you're supposed to ignore the fact that they were given the opportunity to get the hostages back right off the bat, and they chose not to. I looked into it, and I'm not sure why they'd want to hide it. Seems like a tragedy where they died from a plague. Why do they think that's bad without even saying anything? They proved it was shady. I don't know which thing you're talking about. By literally taking it from you and blocking, etc. Wonder the specific reason. I don't know what you mean. What part's the plague thing? Maybe one of your comments didn't come through. I don't know. Tragedy. He died from plague. Yeah, I don't know what you mean there. I mean, this whole thing is so like obvious. It's just so weird. It really is weird to think it's so right in your face and obvious, and that it's lasted this long without people talking about it. The name you said you got banned for, Lag BaOmer, Lag, new word, BA, capital OMER. It's weird how they spell it, but it's 2 words. Lag, new word, capital B, capital OME, BA, capital OMER. It's definitely strange. And you know, like I say, do you honestly think the president doesn't know about Mishnah Nadah? Doesn't know about metzitzia b'peh? Doesn't know about Lag BaOmer? It's the president. If I know about it, I'm some dumbass. President is supposed to be the best. Could you imagine if we had a president like Bartlett, like the West Wing? He was awesome. But that's the romantic side of things, that even when he had to make the tough decisions, he did them nobly and shit like that. I hated that show. My wife watches it. I bought her the box set one year for Christmas or something. And she unfortunately watches it every so often, start to finish. And it's just so stupid. It's just so stupid. It's all so stupid. It's like the cop shows that my wife loves watching. Chicago PD, Magnum PI, NCIS, and all these shows. You know, she likes watching that new one with Jubal. His name is Jubal. Did you guys see that the 7-Eleven brand? Good job, bud. The 7-Eleven brand, their like specific brand is called, what's it called? Goyim Foods. Goyim Foods. Do you not see like how in your fucking face it all is? It's like it's almost, they make it so obvious so they could be like, yeah, why would it be this obvious? Or I don't know. To me, it seems like they dare us, they push us to talk about it, and then they ridicule you for talking about it. But I just don't see how it all works. You know, I guess you have to put that Christian equation in, that Christian element of the equation in, and that somehow that keeps people in line. I don't get it, man. I just don't get it anymore. You know, my life, I didn't know about it. But as soon as I knew about it, I was like, oh, that's fucking awful. We need to do something about it. How is that not commonplace? You had the excuse beforehand. You had the ignorance excuse. I didn't know that was the way it was. Maybe I'd heard people say it, but I didn't believe it. It was so outlandish and shocking. And there's no way people are actually, you know, marrying 3 years. Come on, nobody believes that the hymen returns. Who believes that the hymen can grow back? That's fucking stupid. But once you read it for yourself, or you like me read it to you or whatever, you convince yourself otherwise. As much as that Scott Wiener video is amazing, you know, I would love to see somebody do the same thing and be like, so you guys believe in Mishnah Nada, huh? You guys believe in metzitzia, huh? You know, if you're dumb enough to believe that they live their by their existence, by their Talmudic existence, and they celebrate all the holidays, and they separate themselves like they do, and they look down on us like they do, and all these different things. But the couple of things that we find appalling, like metzitzia or soul correction or Mishnah Nada, they don't do that shit. Those things that they're commanded to do in order to get their mitzvahs, in order to get their blessings, they have to do these things according to their religion that they stick by in every aspect of it, every sense of the word. But then there's just these couple of things that they were like, all right, the Goyim really don't like that, so let's not do those anymore. And anybody that tells you that they don't, or that it's not what you think, or it's not as common as you, they lie. Like, lying to Goyim is, when you tell your animal, hey, you want to go for a walk, and then you take it to the fucking vet, that's basically it. They don't care about lying to us. Oh yes, here you go, cows. Eat all this food we're providing you because we want you to grow up healthy and strong and live a nice long life. And no, you'd have no problem saying that shit to your cow. You have no problem lying to your pets. If you think that they take some sort of issue lying to us, you're just wrong. But again, look at that Scott Wiener video. There are lines they won't cross. He's not about to lie and say free Palestine on a video that he knows will go viral. And he looked as coked out as could be. Like, I'm old. My eyes have bags and shit. They don't look anything like that fucking guy's. God, what I wouldn't give to see a Scott Wiener out and about and have the opportunity to do the same, to do and say the same shit to him. But see, that's just it. Is again the genocide, the Palestine thing. I mean, most white people, especially, they don't give a fuck. Black people either. Black people are like, yeah, I care about those brown people, but look what they do to my people here. I'm much more concerned with that. And you're talking about, genocide that we've been seasoned, we've been desensitized to our entire lives. We view killing Arabs and Muslims as like victory, as like that's what we're supposed to be doing. They're the bad guys. So, there's a large portion of the people that aren't going to really give too much of a shit about whether this guy says free Palestine or not. But if you cornered him and you were like, now tell us about Mishnah Nada 5:4. Tell us why you're all pedophiles and why it's okay. Like, that's going to be a completely different video. I would love to see that video. I would love to see someone corner Ben Shapiro and ask him these questions. I'd like to see Ben Shapiro get his shit beat in, but that's a whole different thing. Ben Shapiro, Charlie Kirk, same kind of shit. All these people that give a shit about Charlie Kirk. Charlie was a fucking asshole. Charlie was a bigot. Charlie was a fucking a pawn for the Israeli system. and championed genocide on numerous occasions. The fact that they have to keep telling you that Charlie was turning on Israel, not showing you, not proving it. Oh, these are just some messages that were sent from one person to another. Do you know that? I mean, anybody can say that these are messages. Look at the Tyler Robinson messages. Do you know that Tyler Robinson made those messages? No. They can literally put out anything they want in that sort of setting, and especially if everybody involved is in on it, who's going to say anything? Charlie was turning on Israel. That's what happened. Charlie was never turning on Israel, other than the things that he did say that were sort of what, that was what he was told to say. That's what he was saying. You're allowed to say those things. You should be asking these questions. You should be saying these things. He's a fucking bot, just like Nick Fuentes, just like Stu Peters, just like Ian Carroll. Has Ian Carroll physically shown up yet? It's actually crazy how dumb people are. Some people go with the flow too seriously. Well, most people are really stupid, like you say. It's amazing how dumb people are. Most people are super stupid. Morning. How are you today? Same old same. I haven't seen Ian yet, no. I've seen, things that he's commented on. He's supposedly shown back up in the digital, arena, but I haven't seen anything showing him yet. He just commented something, big about Israel. I mean, again, if you're trying to manufacture a narrative where people are dead set on genocide and nothing else, well, Ian Carroll's your guy. Well, I think I said it best maybe yesterday, that Ian Carroll is a flex. Think about what Ian Carroll does. Ian Carroll brags and shows you how they have this CEO and that CEO, and they control this and BlackRock that, and yada yada. Like, it's all about making you think the opposition is much bigger and more powerful than we actually are. What are you barking at? What? I mean, nobody ever wants to address why Ian is so popular. And the fact that he appears on social media in March of 2023 with no previous social media footprint is virtually impossible. Yeah, most of the opposition started off as USA people. I don't know what you mean. But yeah, I mean, they're all Esther projects. And don't get it mixed up. Project Esther is a different thing. They have a Project Esther, and then they have the Esther Project. And Ian Carroll is that Esther Project. At least I think so. I mean, when you look at the fact that Ian Carroll, appears, blah, 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 gains this huge following. Within 22 months or 20 months or something like that, he's on Joe Rogan's show. I think it's less than that. But he's on the Joe Rogan show. He is immensely successful in the truther sphere. So much so that him and his partners decide that they're going to build a software that will allow people, according to him, to research the Epstein files more efficiently. It will search whatever you're looking for, give you the exact this, that, and then give you a source and yada, yada, yada. Oh, by the way, it's free. Who were all these people that were working on this software, and what, they didn't get paid? But everyone has their price, so they say. I've said it before. I suddenly stopped showing up. They've given me $20 million and I'm gone. You never see me again. Fucking hey, I'm sorry. You know, the effort that's been put into me. You know, I've been trying, I've been doing and saying the right things for a long time and had almost nothing but opposition. Morning. Can you take this for a minute?
TP. Oh, I did too at like earlier. I don't know. I woke up and oh my god, it was one of those. I had to pee so bad, my whole body hurt. It sucked. And then I went back to bed and was able to pass out. Something that my husband is very jealous of because he can't do that. If he gets up, he can pee in it. Oh. Morning light out and shit. He's done. He's up. Oh, good gravy. It's been a long week. We have our baby starting his their high school offers, they call it a discovery program. It's the high school is not like in a regular school district where kids progress through the schools together, so they all come from different places. So because of that, they do a really cool summer program where it's like a meet and greet where they get to meet kids and learn the school, so when they actually start, it's not as scary and they know some people. And
gives a fuck
neat
about that? You crazy girl.
That starts tomorrow. I didn't know what the fuck you were talking about.
What do you think I'm talking about? I talk about the same shit all the time. Nobody needs you to continue the conversation. You can just give your own opinions. Oh, yeah. I'm wondering, you tell people the truth. I mean, I agree. I'm shocked that it's such an uphill climb. I'm shocked that it's so difficult to find any real or true opposition to anything I'm saying. Once that happens, anyone with any doubts will surely believe, then unless they reject their own senses. I don't know. Well, like I was saying with Ian Carroll, so Ian Carroll, I remember thinking he has a very teacher-esque sort of presence. He reminds me of like a 5th grade math teacher or some shit, you know? The mustache, all of it. And the tone of voice, his delivery, everything like that. But the fact that they come up with this web, W-E-B-B, software that they give away for free, and you then, you know, download it to your phone or your computer, your personal device, that screams promise software to me. That screams Pegasus. That screams, you know, Israeli backdoor into all your shit. And then right after this, he drops this thing for everybody. He disappears, and he's been gone for like 3 months now, maybe more. I think they said May. early May, or was it early May or late March? I don't remember. But he's been gone for a very long time. And for someone like him to not realize the responsibility he has to a bunch of people who are in this world, and we go, holy shit, something happens to people. We're not the type of people that just go, oh, it's no big deal. We have real suspicions at that point. For him to not say, hey guys, I'm gonna take a little time off for myself. I've been working hard on this stuff. You know, I've been doing this for 3 years straight. And I mean, he literally, now that you think about it, if he appears in March of 2023, he basically exists for 3 years almost exactly. And then he disappears. And even the disappearing act, there's not really any sort of rhyme or reason behind it still. It also happened to happen with Candace and Nick Fuentes. They all just happened to disappear at the same time. Candace is I mean, she's just so weird. In some regard, she's hot. But like, then she says shit like Israel. Every time she says it, she says Israel. Why does she say Israel? I don't. They don't even say that shit. But you know, this halfy broad that's associated with Charlie Kirk, to give Charlie that he's not racist, but sort of mentality or presence. It is interesting how many dots connect, yet people focus on small details, yet the exact opposite when it comes to their personal life. Yeah, it's weird, right? Like you inherently are going to be skeptical, right? So especially someone like me who is not presenting the common narrative and is actually trying to dismantle the common narrative. You would think, especially some of these things I'm saying sounding kind of crazy, you would think it wouldn't be so easy for you personally to validate everything I'm saying. But I always provide you with the list of things in the description. And it's you know, if you look, you'll see that like you say, it's amazing how many dots all connect, and they connect to the same thing. You know, I tried. When I can remember being younger and hearing people sort of talk about the Jewish conspiracy, but being like, I don't know. I remember when I first discovered the Protocols of Zion. This was in the late 2000s. And I remember it being so like blatant and obvious, but you still have all this programming that tells you you're not allowed to say these things. You're not allowed to see this. You're not allowed to, and this document has been, debunked or is said to be a fraud or something like that. It's like, you say this, but this article or this narrative matches perfectly. It's like the blood libel thing, right? So interestingly, nowadays you'll hear Netanyahu say it all the time, or you'll hear Laura Loomer say it, or any of the talking heads. Anytime somebody says something they don't like, they go, these blood libels, they're saying blood libels against us. But just so there's not any confusion. Blood libel. So blood libel is an anti-Semitic trope which falsely accuses Jews of murdering Christians in order to use their blood in the performance of religious rituals. So why would they then hijack that term and use it to describe something? Like it's a blood libel is them killing Christian children, bleeding them dry, and then using the blood for their rituals. Why would you say, saying something bad about them is a blood libel? And then to suggest that this term that has literally only been associated with them what? Hang on, I'm talking to Charles. Let's see if I can. He's saying FEIYR.com, the ones that took down the music. There's no restrictions anymore, no copyright stuff. I don't. Oh, okay. I didn't realize that the company that's just weird. Fryer.com, fire. It's fire. It's almost fryer. But the blood libel thing, again, it's how they hijack things. And you see this weaponized language. This I don't know, it's lazy, it's shitty. It's weird. But it's always like whenever we look into something, it's always straight line here to here. You never have to make that leap. Well, this might be, every single thing is like, how does this not known? I just, like if it was aliens, right? If my big thing was aliens, it would be so hard to actually, get this narrative across, because once you start looking into things, you see that it's not nearly as cut and dry, and there's skepticism, and there's this, and there's that, and there's other possibilities, and at all points, all times, things that are reported as aliens could be government vessels that we don't know about, drones, whatever. Like, there's other possibilities. When it comes to everything that I'm talking about, Mishnah Nada 5:4, there's no other possibilities. It's fucking right there. It's okay to rape and then marry 3-year-olds. And if you rape the 3-year-old before she's 3 years and 1 day old, then it doesn't count, and her hymen grows back. And it's like each piece that you stumble across, you don't even have to try to fit it in. It just fits. The micro penis thing. Well, that makes sense then. How do they justify that they're not hurting the children? Well, it's a micro penis. They just go, well, what, that little tiny thing isn't going to do anything to anybody. What do you mean? You take your pinky finger, and from the first digit to the nail, we think that that's a joke. That's really what we're talking about. I think it's strange, right? I have one viewer, one like. It's just Matt. We should reset. What do you think, Matt? Let's do one more reset. I'm gonna title a video something provocative and see if that brings people in. Okay, let's try that. Pedophiles, if you happen across this feed after the fact, kill yourself.